All right, so you know me in my 80s, stuck in a time warp, right? So, of course, I had to tell the universe that their Radioactive by Imagine Dragons is not as good as the firm Radioactive in 1985. So, the thumbnail is a picture of my last sunflower, and the thumbnail yesterday was a picture of one of my possums that I used to feed outside. That's no longer with us. That was little Joey. Okay, and then the sunflower today I put on there because even though things are not in your physical sight, they're still there. Okay, so I want you to understand multidimensional. So little Joey and that sunflower are still around me. They're just not physically in 3 and 4D where we are in our physical avatar. Now I know that's hard for you guys to understand, but I hope you can. Okay, so I'm going to go over the shorts, but I wanted to pull a few oracle cards here on the energy. I know people have been mentioning that Chosen Chronicles is a week early, and the only thing I can tell you is that there are no accidents, so I wouldn't listen too much about dates. I would listen to more about what the message is. And if they're saying, okay, on 3/20, which is tomorrow, and you know that today is 3/13, okay, well, what is she saying about 3/20? And then act as if tomorrow was 3/20, okay? Because there really is no time in the other dimensions. So if I was to talk to you and say anything, okay, if I'm to talk to you and say anything, I can't, it's not next week, it's not last week, it's just energy. So, you know, it's really hard for me to explain this stuff because everybody is so used to dates and times. But you just have to understand that it's the message. So if I'm telling you that there's a message of radioactive, explosive energy, and I said it yesterday and I'm saying it today, that means that that's the energy around us. Okay? That can go into next week. You could watch this timeless reading in a month from now, and that would be your message for then. So you see what I'm saying? If you watched this video 1 month from now, that's the energy that would be around you while you were listening to that video. So it's really hard to explain. So the only thing I can say is if you're listening to somebody and she's saying that today is 3/20 and you know that it's not 3/20, ignore the numbers. Maybe even Google 3/20 and check out the angel number. I mean, there's so many things you can do with a message. A message is really not literal. Even though we try to give you examples and we show you cards, energy is really not literal. Okay? So the cards just try to help explain the energy. Like when I said radioactive, does that mean that you're going to walk outside your house and you better put on a face mask? No, it's talking about the energy being radioactive. So see, two different things. That's why you might not want to listen to these kind of videos if you're not at that level. Again, it's like teaching calculus to kindergartners. They're not going to get it. They can try and they can try, but they're not going to get it. But I do realize that when you're listening to somebody and they're giving you a wrong date or time, it kind of throws you off because you're like, that'd be like Dallas Rains on the weather saying, it's going to snow in Hemet. You're going to get 16 inches tomorrow. And you're like, there is no way we're going to have 16 inches of snow here tomorrow. It's going to be 96 degrees out today and tomorrow. So does that mean that he's wrong? No, it means that the energy that he's picking up is getting 16 inches. So somewhere is getting 16 inches of snow. He said Hemet, California. Well, I don't want to say he's wrong, but, not in our dimension, maybe on a different dimension in Hemet, but it's going to be 96 here today and tomorrow. Okay, so I hope that helped a little. That was a question from Susan about Chosen Chronicles, and she knows that's my higher self, Seraphine. So we've got the Akashic Records card, and that's why I'm saying that everything is timed out. Everything is already written. We're just walking through it. And that's why I do these readings, because I want you to be able to go outside and know that it's going to be 96 degrees out. Can you imagine how you would act and dress if it was 16 inches of snow versus 96 degrees? Okay, so it's important to know the weather energy. But with times and dates, don't follow that too much. Okay, really try to expand your mind into no time. All right, so everything's already been written. We're playing it out, and there is trickster energy around you. So just be careful. He said 16 inches of snow, but you know that it's going to be 96 degrees. To me, I would act as if it's 96 degrees. I wouldn't be listening to that 16 inches of snow. Trickster energy. You're a magician, so it's like the saying, you can't con a con. I remember sitting in AA rooms multiple times telling that story about how you can't con a con. We've been there, we've done that, we have been everything. You can't sit here and try to con a con. We're recovering cons, we're recovering thieves and prostitutes and wife beaters and dog kickers and you name it. We've been it, right? But we're in recovery, so we no longer do them things. And guess what? You can't con a con. We are the magician. So we've got the Akashic Records, the trickster energy, the smoke and mirrors energy, but you have all the tools you need, so you're good. Top of the deck is listen to the angels, angelic frequencies. Jaded in reverse. Do not get revengeful and go tell Dallas Rains he's an asshole and kick the shit out of him because he lied and said there was going to be 16 inches of snow and you got boots on and a snowsuit and you went outside to go sledding and it was 96 degrees. No, you should have used your intuition. You should have used other tools in your toolbox and figured out that he was talking about a different city altogether. Spiritual warrior is in reverse because that's exactly what I just said. If you believed that there's going to be 16 inches of snow tomorrow or today, and you went outside in that snowsuit ready to go sledding, and no, it's 96. That means you didn't use any of your spiritual warrior tools because you wouldn't have known that was a mistake. But when it comes to something like Seraphine talking about the portals and the cosmos and the energy, you can easily fit that into the energy all around this whole month. It's like, it's not a specific second. Even when you hear people say there's a new moon tomorrow, or there's a portal being opened, etc., it's not an exact moment. It's a band of waves of energy. I know I live in those dimensions, but the problem is that you do too, and you don't understand, and you don't believe. And that's why they're saying don't become jaded, and don't try to get your spiritual warrior upright. And you can do that by listening to angelic frequencies, by talking to your guides, by asking questions like Susan did. That's great. Ask questions to people that you trust. Call up another meteorologist. Dallas Rains just said it's going to be snowing. You don't think so, do you? Oh, absolutely not, he says. 96 and sunny all day in California. Okay, now I want to go over the shorts with you, because it's really important that you look up Miriam, because Miriam does the praises. She's the praising girl, right? And I think that's the 11 card. And then we had you reap what you sow, the reaper's story. So you're going to be reaping what you're sowing. What are you sowing? Are you planting sunflowers? Then you're going to get a sunflower. Are you planting, I heard somebody say they threw some marijuana seeds in the dirt and they were surprised that marijuana plants grew. Well, duh. Okay, you're going to plant a sunflower, you're going to get sunflowers. Now, some of my sunflowers did not make it. Why? Who knows? Not enough water, the soil wasn't right. So whatever you're reaping, you're sowing. So the message here with Miriam being the praise girl, and the reaper story is stay in gratitude for whatever's going to happen. Okay? You hear that a lot. You hear stay in gratitude a lot. Okay? Then we had the death card and the world card. The world is going through a death. Gaia, her name actually changed too. Okay? So we've got name changes. We've got climate changes, where in some places that never got snow are getting snow. So it's really not too far-fetched to say it could snow in California. I just know that it's going to be 96 and it's not going to be 16 inches of snow. But that doesn't mean that in the future it may be snow here. I have seen snow and I have seen frost here. Okay, so the world is going through a death and a transformation, and that's why the energy right now is radioactive. I sure like the Firm song better than Imagine Dragons, but they're two opposite, they're kind of different songs, two different energies, but between the lyrics of them all and the music, I got my message. And that message is just that anything can happen at any time because of the new age, the new earth, the new world, the death of the old and the beginning of the new. So we need to stay in gratitude because we're reaping what we're sowing. Now I got the Knight of Pentacles next and the Two of Pentacles. And the reason I put them together is because you need to focus. Okay? You need to focus and be steadfast and determined, because what's going to happen in your city and where you're at is going to be different than somebody else. So again, back to my snow and warmth analogy. The people that are getting 16 inches of snow are going to have a completely different day than me in 96-degree weather. When we had our fires in California, those people were experiencing different days than people in, say, Wisconsin that wasn't experiencing fires. So you're reaping what you're sowing. That was the next energy. The next energy is it's explosive, it's radioactive energy, and you are reaping what you're sowing personally, but also wherever you're at, you're reaping what you're sowing. So if you're in a city that had a lot of brush and you didn't clear the brush away, when the fire came, your house probably burnt down. Okay? And then we've got the Hermit and the Hierophant. And I love these two together because the energy I'm getting right now is so cool. It's like I'm not settling for less than a Hierophant. So if two knights come in and they want to fight over me, I've got my two of swords, but I don't have to take either. And I'm not settling for a knight. Okay? Now, some of you, I said, are going to get knights because you have karmic lessons to still go through. You also have a mission where you need a partner, per se, to do your horse farm, to do your project. And your twin is not here in a physical avatar. He's in 5D and higher. So you get some knights to help you. So does that mean that I'm not going to take knights and have them help me? No, we can all help each other. We can write songs together, and we write the songs that make the young girls sing, Barry Manilow. We can still write songs and play guitar and have fun, but that's not the Hierophant. The Hierophant may only be in 5D and higher, and you went within, and that means you're shielding yourself. See, it says go within, shield yourself. Shield yourself from players, tricksters. Remember, we had the trickster energy. Just because I was talking about a meteorologist, that was just an analogy. We have tricksters around us that want to get us off path. So keep taking time to make decisions. Keep leaning on your angels. We just had angel frequency that I talked about. And being in solitude, as in your insides, not your physical side. They're saying your insides. Eternally know who you are. You're not settling for less than a Hierophant. Yes, you can have knights and pages around you, but that is simply to help you. Just like you would have a plumber come over to help you plumb. Is that even what they do? Plumb? You could have a plumber come over to help you with your drains, but you don't marry the guy. You don't have a romantic relationship with him. Well, hopefully you don't. Okay, so newness and lessons learned is where you are headed in this Hierophant energy. You want new, you want lessons learned, you want helpers, but you're not settling for less. So that's why we have the Hermit and the Hierophant together. Okay, now since I'm a little chatty this morning, let's go ahead and shuffle these, and let's just pick out a final message from the Oracle deck. Okay, this is Divinely Guided Oracle deck. And it's so funny that it's been almost 5 years since a lot of us have started our channels or started this journey, and it's just a trip. I just can't believe where we're at, and the end is so phenomenal. Okay, so this card wanted to come out, and it's Divine Feminine. So we've got Divine Feminine and Sacrifice. So the Divine Feminine has sacrificed. What has she sacrificed? I just said the last 5 years have been really something. Okay, well, we can go further than that, but let's just say the last 5 years. Think about your last 5 years. Now remember, I said time doesn't matter, but you can talk about time like I just did there. That's understandable. We're still here on Earth in a physical avatar. Okay, final message. Have faith and have conversations with God. Keep your divine perspective and keep doing spiritual alchemy. Stay in your Empress mode. Keep being the Empress and waiting or staying with your Hierophant, using your Knights and Pages. But again, it's like the plumber. Let the plumber plumb. They're still paying for readings. I keep saying paying for readings, okay? So this says paying for readings and doing spell work. So the opposition, the minions, are still out there trying to get you off track. And I said that earlier. I couldn't talk there for a minute. Okay, you've already went down the rabbit hole. She's in reverse again. And keep yourself grounded. That's my air sign. Finish out any little karma that you have left. That's where I said, let the plumber plumb. The Knights and the Pages, let them do their job. But just don't settle for less than your privileged lady, because you already went down and into the rabbit hole and through the valley of darkness. So you want your privileged lady or man. Stay loyal, brave, and true. And then back to the hermit. So that takes us all the way back around to what I said about the hermit. So I hope you guys liked this message. I hope that you will continue to ask questions and keep digging deep and know that we're in a radioactive type of energy. I am Miss Mystic, and I want to thank you all for listening. 22:22 on the clock.